Dimp Digital Presents Idle Game Chat.
Hello, Apps here from Dimp Digital. Welcome to Idle Game Chat. This is the weekly video games podcast where we give our impressions of the games that you can play today and react to the latest news from the wonderful world of video games. We're here every Monday on your favourite podcast app and YouTube, absolutely free. This week, I'm joined once again by the three-time Dimp Digital Gaming Quiz winner. It's Tom Adkins, not Ed Cock. How's it going? I did chuck that.
Dawn. Fed up.
Yeah, I thought we might get a fed up one. What's happening?
I got myself in a rut.
How?
I didn't play a big game and think. I don't know what's happened really. I bought that Mass Effect trilogy. Steamrolled through the first one accidentally. I was like, right, I'll really take my time on this. In my head,
Yeah.
I thought I could. I'd done I was going through the main stories, done a bit of side stuff, and I was like, got to a point. I was like, I could probably just do the story, get that done, and then come back to the side quest.
Right.
I had in my head, and then it doesn't tell you when you get to that point of no return.
Right.
So
Yeah.
I haven't been able to go back to that ship yet.
No.
This is concerning. And then literally I was like, oh, well, I'll do it at the end after, it's alright. And then got to that ship, done the game, and I was like, oh, I'll go back now. And I was like, oh, what? It's just taking me back to the main menu. To reload my save, it just took me straight back to the end boss again. I was like, I've breaknecked it.
Yeah, that is that's frustrating. I mean, I can't remember. I played that on
2010. I played that. So
yeah. I didn't play it on release, but I know I played it like not far off release, and I would not have known that. I'd have assumed the same, but obviously.
I thought this remaster, they would have at least chucked a little message to say, look, this is the point of no return. Do you go, well, that's it, now I can go back, but fucking chucked it, so.
I don't know if that changed with 2 and 3, because I know for 3 they added that Citadel DLC, and obviously that came after the game had been released, so I'm assuming there was that you could play the DLC and sort of go back before you'd completed it, so I don't know. Who knows?
I used to like scavenging all the little planets, and
Yeah.
sort of stuff, but yeah, just the first one, certainly. Chucked it and played through a bit of the second one. I was like, yeah, this is a great game. And then I just saw a bit of war and I was like, right.
It's a bit much, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of talking. I was like, right, okay. Like, it's a fucking great game, but I've lost it. And then since then, I don't think I've played anything. I'll tell you what I did. We'll talk about it later, but I managed to play the last hour, or last 2 hours of Far Cry New Dawn.
Right.
But
because you've done a biff with that, haven't you? It stops right at the end.
Right, what is happening here? And that is it. That's literally what I've done. Probably in the last, I don't know, when did Mass Effect come out? Like a month? It's been
a few weeks for now. Yeah, the thing with doing all 3 in one go, it's a tough ask because it's great those games are. I feel like you do need to rest. What's the transition like between like 1 and 2? Because they're separate menu items, aren't they? But do you carry over like the look of your character, or like do you load the save in? How does it? What happens?
You get the option. So yeah, it loads. I think what other games do there. It's like it must be a trilogy game. Crash Bandicoot. So you get a main menu where you can choose. You have to install each individual game as well. So
okay,
I've only got the 2 so far. But yeah, so you get the option of creating your own shepherd using the default shepherd, which I tend to go with anyway because it's that.
He's on the trailers, isn't he? And so I think, well, canon.
He's a character now, isn't he? We get the feminists say, well, femship, so.
He doesn't appear in the trailers. She ain't there. Cut out of it.
What was his name? Katsunadzi, who said, sick of it. Keep it canon. Matt Lonely. So did that. And Actually, no, I didn't go default because with default, I think it sets you a box standard backstory. So you know, maybe you could change like if you were born on Earth or.
Oh, that's
So,
it. Yeah, if you're a spacer or a colonist,
yeah,
and
that's.
yeah. I remember
I
now.
made a so like I made a custom one, but kept his appearance in that. And then yeah, when you get to the second game, you load it up and you have the option to either start fresh with a new backstory or carry over from the first game.
Nice.
I intend to that. There are trophies or achievements linked to it that's carry the same character and rekindle relationships.
Nice.
Sexual relationships I've been having with Caden.
Have you?
Accidentally, yeah, no.
Oh, come on. You said that last 3 times you said it's been accidental.
I love it.
What was it? Valhalla and Cyberpunk, we've had these instances. And like we said, there's nothing wrong with it, but, you know, you're making a habit out of it and trying to deny it. It's time you broke free and just said, look, I like doing that in a video game. It's fine.
That's what we call it, role playing. That is, I
That
get
is-
that on Pride Month as well. So
Wow, there you go. all on brand. Yeah, I mean, I will get around to playing. I think I said this it's that it's coming on Game Pass at some point. Might be a year, might be. Well, it shouldn't be more than a year, I wouldn't have thought. But I can kind of wait. So I knew I weren't going to get it finished before Ratchet or Final Fantasy VII remake, whatever they've called it, Intergrade. Is it Intergrade? It was coming out, and that's the sort of 2 that are coming in this next week. Or this week, as we're gonna go through it just before E3. But that's just a good point. E3 coverage, people are like, what are you doing? Well, nothing. So that's what's happening. Next week there's a show that has already been recorded, and that's just going to drop in, and it's a bit of a celebration, not of E3 but of games. So it kind of fits in nicely around the E3 week. The reason why I didn't want to do an up-to-date one is because Monday there's still half of it's done, half of it's not done. There's still conferences. I was like, just wait till it's all done, and then the following week we'll come back and run through, maybe not everything because it'll go on for 4 hours, but we'll talk about E3 as a whole during that episode. So it'll be like the following Monday, and the Monday after that is when we'll update the hype list.
Cool.
So we'll have digested everything that's happened, we'll have discussed it, and then I'm hoping that fucking hype list is a difficult task to get everything on we wanted, because at the end of that last one we was like, right, we need something to go on here.
Yeah.
And we ended up with Mario Golf getting on there.
What a stinker. So yeah, that'll be out by then.
Yeah, it won't be far off. It won't be far off. So it might have knocked itself off. So that's the sort of plan for E3. No sort of in week reactions. There's a standalone episode coming next week which you can listen at any time, but I'm sure you'll all enjoy it. And then the following week we'll do the E3 stuff and then the hype list, and then we'll get to some of the games we've been playing. I've been working through like a project of playing the Metro games, so I've done Metro 2033, done Metro Last Light, broke neck both of those, and then I'm working my way through Exodus now, which is a much bigger game. Like it's not a quick breakneck jobby. So
were they the Redux you went through?
Yeah, they were the Redux. They were on Epic.
Yeah,
had them via that, but no, I didn't notice any achievements on those ones. So those that have got on Steam will have it, but Exodus does have them. So I don't know what that's all about. But I'm not overly fussed.
It was going to be a bit like a PlayStation thing, where it was all happening in the background, and then that Epic thing will just update one day and it will just appear.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that could be. I think because they're definitely older games. Even the Redux versions are sort of like 6-7 years old. So maybe
the only thing that annoys me about that Epic is the UI or DRM or whatever they call it. I really like the Steam one. That gives you all your achievements and has a community page and your times played.
Yeah,
you do get a bit of that on Epic, but
his times played is on there, which is handy. I think when I last checked it on Metro, I played 18 hours of Exodus, and Last Light in 2033 I think was like 7 hours for both. So this is a much bigger proposition. So that's sort of like a project I've been doing, and I've been enjoying that. So it'd be interesting to kind of run through those 3, so you can kind of listen to the development of the series as it goes on. Because Exodus is certainly quite different, but that's what's coming. There's also other games that I've finished and not had a chance to speak about. So that's all coming in after the post E3 madness.
Yeah.
Not to mention Ratchet coming out. Someone's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
someone's gonna have got that. Adkins may have pre-ordered it. Who knows?
Yeah, well, this is the thing. Yeah, like I said, I'm in a bit of a rut now, and
Mm.
I'm just sort of I need E3
The
to
waiting
get
game.
me that buzz, and I completely forgot that Ratchet's coming out this week, wouldn't it?
Mm.
Or on Monday, so it will be Friday. Should go. Oh, actually, I've done it through that Young Bucks as well. They sent it early, so I might even have a Thursday cheeky number.
There you go. I hope if you do get it Thursday, I hope that they have already dropped the day one patch, because they announced earlier this week they're doing the same as what they did with Miles Morales. There'll be a 60 FPS ray tracing mode, so
Oh, give me that.
that'll be the one I'll go for when I play
Yeah, I
that for
was just
sure.
saying,
It's a nice compromise. You don't get I think the reflections aren't as high rendered or whatever, but like you kind of get the 60 FPS and that, and it's kind of a good compromise. I found for Miles Morales, and that didn't arrive till after launch, so it's clearly something that Insomniac have worked on. And now they've done it once, they can do it for Ratchet. So that's all coming. It's a very busy time. We've had feet up for a while here.
Yeah,
so,
we have. The games have been played.
Yes, absolutely. Well, whilst we've had feet up, we're just going to do, as a sort of a precursor to E3, is not do any predictions or any bullshit like that. I mean, I can't be dealing with that.
God of War 9.
Well, that's the trouble. I can't be dealing with all that stuff. So we're just going to catch up on some of the stuff that's happened over the last sort of couple of weeks, because the episodes we've been pumping out have been game focused. There's been actually some news for once. In the lead up to E3, this normally happens, but we'll run through them and then we'll see where we land.
Becoming more of a thing as like the years go on, that there's the sort of first couple of weeks before E3, you're getting game announcements, like the pre-E3, that it's getting more predominant of announcements, leaks.
Yeah. It's strange, isn't it? Because you'd think like the stuff we're going to talk about would have sat nicely in any of those sort of things. We've got Summer Games Fest that Jeff Keighley's doing. There's Guerrilla stuff. There's all sorts of different things going on. But even like the stuff that Sony's put out for Horizon, that could have made up a showcase they were doing. So
yeah,
it makes me wonder whether they've got anything else in the locker and they're holding those back, or whether that was it. And that's all we're going to see from Sony
that's
stuff.
all you're getting.
Because as we record this, as it goes live on Twitch, if you want to support twitch.tv/Dimp Digital, and you can chuck us a subscription or do the free Amazon Prime job, you link that, sub to us, thank you very much. I'll buy another beer with that. Easy.
Well, while we're just looking at Twitch, we're coming up, our tags is English, game show, and BlizzCon.
Yes, yes. BlizzCon is an inside joke. We've always said that.
Oh right.
We'd form a team and get on the road to BlizzCon, and we'll be there one day competing, which we never will.
Never say never.
No. So yeah, I mean, we'll run through some of the bits and pieces we've seen, the sort of pre-E3 stuff, and we know there's going to be big stuff happening over the next week as well. As I said, we'll catch up on. But let's start with the big one. Horizon Forbidden West. Sony announced, I think they called it a state of play still. I think they're still calling it that. They said there's going to be 14 minutes of gameplay, and we're going to see the game running. Because we'd seen what looked like pre-rendered or maybe cutscenes. It wasn't clear exactly, but they said, you're going to see the game being played. And I was like, okay, this would be good. And they delivered. They gave us 14 minutes worth of gameplay. They then did a little follow-up afterwards for about 5-10 minutes where the developers spoke over some of the gameplay sequences, explaining some of the changes they've made, some of the enhancements, which I kind of appreciated, because I was like, oh, I didn't realise that, or I wondered what that was, and then they talked about, you know, how it worked and what it was. But we got 14 minutes worth. We did not get a release date or release window. Now, Herman Holst has said, he's the big cheese at the old Sony Insider, the first party studios running that, promoted out of Guerrilla. He says they're on track for this holiday, but are not certain to confirm that.
Oh, brilliant his arse, isn't he?
So if it's in fantasy teams, be scared if you don't be hearing something by September.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I was surprised they didn't announce it here. I thought, well, 'cause if they're going to break like the seal and show us the game, they must have a target date maybe.
Or
But
even just a holiday 2021. Not even that. No, ain't fucking having it.
so it could come 2022, I guess.
Yeah,
Which isn't the end of the world.
They need something to combat Infinite if that comes out. You know.
Yeah.
If that's going to be a holiday.
Well, I don't know if they even will bother. They might just think, well, you can have that, and then we'll come out in March, and then
I get an absolute stinker.
yeah. I don't know, but we saw 14 minutes worth. Other things that came out off the back of it was they confirmed there is going to be a 60 FPS mode that targets 60 FPS. I think a lot of people are like, right, you've shown this now and it was all 30.
Yeah.
People are like, I think that's especially early in the gen, we've been treated to a lot of 60 FPS stuff. So
I was going to say, when going back to that fucking New Dawn I played, that is only 30 FPS and it's slop. Especially for a first-person shooter. I've been now tarnished by these next-gen games where every game, I refuse to play that Watch Dogs because that was 30 FPS. Now they've released a 60 FPS patch.
yeah,
This has to be the bare minimum now. So when I did that, I was of concern as well. I was like, oh,
yeah.
slick. But yeah,
they've confirmed that, which is good. And I just want them to patch up the old one now.
Yeah, that would be great. It's annoying that's pretty. Oh, and Uncharted.
Yeah, and Uncharted. Although one of the other rumours is that that's coming to PC at some point, like Horizon did. So Horizon runs at 60 on PC, and it's like, can we now use that learning to put it back on the PS4? I don't know.
Do you think it's only PlayStation exclusive day one? Is it Forbidden West, or is it PC chubby as well?
No, yeah. So it'll be on PlayStation first, and then they'll port it over to PC. Not dissimilar to what they've done with Horizon Zero Dawn or Days Gone, and kind of like the Rockstar model as well. You think every time they've released a new game, they've kind of left it a year whilst they work on a proper port of it, which I think PC gamers generally accept that. They're like, it'd be nice to have it day one, but they'd rather have the port done properly than just some. I mean, I remember you playing, what was it? One of the Batman games that you showed me on the on the PC. And you just bought your Master Race. And it was like, right, we're getting these shit ports, and they were almost common at the time.
Well, I had to play Arkham what was the last one? Arkham Knight at 30 FPS because it was just too unstable and unplayable. I was like, right. I bought this PC because I want this sort of behaviour.
Yeah.
And this is what we're being dealt with. So, yeah, I'll take a year with that sort of thing, I suppose.
Yeah, I think that's from a business sense. It's like you're not going to lose many PC sales. You're going to maximise your console sales. And there are people out there, like Sony fans, that do like, this is a disgrace, but they shouldn't be on it. I'm just like, they're going to get more money, and that money can be used to make the games better in future. Like,
exactly, yeah.
I'm not a complete corporate apologist, but at some point when there's an extra revenue stream that isn't hurting you at all, it's like, come on, let's just let them have it.
Paintball boys.
Yeah. So no release date for Horizon Forbidden West, so we'll keep noted on that. But what did you think of the 14 minutes of gameplay? Because a lot of the online meme chatter was about fucking Aloy's face and taking the piss out of her, and then people saying you're fat shaming her. She ain't got any makeup on. I was like, yeah, she lives in the wilderness. She's not going to pop makeup on just so you can play a game and look at it like, what's going on? So apart from like that side of things, but I thought visually it looked quite a lot different to the first one.
To be honest, the animations in the first game were a bit iffy. I remember the facial animations. There were a lot of talking. And yeah, I was like, what the I just remember them. It was not as bad as something like Andromeda, but I'm just wondering, like, it wasn't as bad. But watching that, especially like the opening scene when he's talking to the bloke that's like dying out and trying to, he keeps drinking her water, doesn't he?
Yeah.
She's like taking it back and he keeps grabbing it, going, give it back.
But mate, there's only a finite amount of this, so can you get off? You're going to die, I'll have it. There's no point making you comfortable. I'm the one living here. I'm running around after these raptors.
Exactly. But yeah, I thought it looked incredible. The combat seems to be improved. I really liked the little. There's like a sort of like almost like a finishing move or like an ultimate move. It was that was added. there seemed to be a bit more sort of verticality in some of the sort of manoeuvrements and traversal you can do going up in the world. You could really do. You could do a little bit of climbing.
Yeah.
The new addition of like the little Breath of the Wild glider.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like, oh hello.
Who do you think thought, like, you know, when Breath of the Wild was out at its peak, people were like, "This is game changing. It's got so much innovation. Like, it's no one's ever done this before," which is mostly horseshit. Like, who do you think the people at Nintendo are like? Everyone's going to copy us. They're going to make barren wastelands with swords that break after 3 hits. And the one thing that people keep stealing is that glider. that's all they've nicked out of the whole game. They're like, right, fucking hell! We thought we'd made the game change and you're nicking the glider and then being done with it.
Yeah, that is like, I don't know whose decision that was, but that definitely has happened. What? There's another game that recently had one as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, that Biomutant has it.
Oh, that's right. Yes, yeah. But no, it looks like you can sort of mix it up and play it into your gameplay, especially when you're fighting those big fucks.
Yeah.
The fucking mammoth and that, and it's chasing you through the destructible environments. What was it? Krog that said that he didn't like the stealth element of the game.
Yeah, so his problem was with it was that he said it's trying to make me do stealth. And I was like,
Right.
It's not.
No, I was gonna say that's the worst. It's hard the thing to do. You can't really go into a camp and.
It's an option.
It's an option, yeah, but it was straight in that 14 minutes of gameplay. She took the first guy out, went up behind him, and then straight away the other two were like, "Oi!"
Yeah.
Ended up into a fucking fight and whipped
Massive
their
work.
asses.
So
Did
a nice
you
little.
remember
Go on.
who that bloke was? Chuck Liddell that was being carted off your mate. I haven't played the game. Like I played it on release.
I don't think he's from the old one.
Was it? Oh, I thought he was.
He might be, and he might well be, and this is
Like
the
I say,
problem.
Right, where's that rapist from the beginning? Right.
Yeah, it weren't him. It weren't Rost, because that's when I first glanced. I was like, "Is that the?"
He's back.
He's back. No, he's gone. He's long gone. So it wasn't him. Maybe it's someone you meet later on. So my memory's completely kind of faded on who the main. I know that Daniels from The Wire is in it.
Right.
He was in it. He's the only other character I can kind of remember.
Yeah.
The other people can't.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything. No.
Saw the old grappling hook, or what they call it, something else.
Well,
But
that was another thing, wasn't it? Yeah.
they claim it's got free climbing like Breath of the Wild. But
Yeah,
when they done the scan, it clearly had specific parts. Alo did a little scan for focus. Yeah, it had little yellow like inserts where she could climb. And I was like, so can you free climb anywhere? Because on Breath of the Wild, you can climb anywhere. Just that you ain't got any fucking stamina and you fall off. Or if it's raining, you slip down. You're like, right, but wait for it to stop raining now. What we doing here?
Doing here. So no, yeah, I did wonder that. There didn't seem to be any sort of stamina bar. But yeah, the other thing that inside me is it's obviously set or supposed to be set in San Francisco.
Yeah.
And I saw something on Twitter of like there was like a street. Do you remember in the scene where she does that grapple hooking and there's like a river sort of like snaking up a road? That's like a street in San Francisco.
Okay.
So it'd be interesting to see if the map is. They're just taking it from Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah.
Right, cover that in foliage and fucking robots, and you'll be.
Because I remember you saying when you went to LA, and I know that Los Santos in GTA 5, it's called Los Santos, but it's heavily based on Los Angeles. I remember you said you went there and you recognised places from GTA 5.
Yeah, I remember going up towards up to the Hollywood sign and getting lost and being able to work my way down and go, no, if I go down here, I think that takes me back to where the fucking stars on the Hollywood Boulevard or wherever it is.
That's it.
Because I was so used to doing that on GTA, and I was like, cool, this is the road. That's it down there. I was like, bloody hell. So yeah, so it'd be interesting to see because
The world's gone to shit though.
Yeah, that's true.
In Horizon.
But with the first game, that wasn't sort of set in any city or anything. It was just like a fucking.
Wasn't it like Seattle or Denver or something? There was.
No, that was it.
It was like a low key place. It's not like a. No, I don't mean to diss people that live there, but it didn't feel like a famous place. It wasn't like Vegas or LA or
yeah.
Yeah.
But like even something like Infamous,
Or Wisconsin.
second level, that was in what was that? That was Seattle, wasn't it? So
Yeah.
and that had like landmarks and stuff. So I'd be interested to see if they do claim this as a city and it's set around here because the bridge is obviously in the
Yeah.
game.
Can't cross
Or
that.
if
It's
it
in the
is.
shitter, it looks like.
But on that subject, one thing that did stand out with this was the underwater segment, which
Yes.
we will discuss in another part because there are some differences I've read from the PS4 and PS5 versions, which if I was on a PS4, I'd be like, "Cool, cheeky fucks." But yeah, I've got to say that sort of really interested me. It didn't look as like I thought it'd be interesting to see because you got a like a breathing apparatus thing, haven't you? So you can sort of stay underwater. But I noticed there's like a lot of currents and stuff, so I don't know what your exploration will be able to do.
I've got a
Get stuck
feeling
up.
that, yeah, it feels like they're going to use the currents to stop you just swimming off
Yeah.
to the coast, which is fine. You can't have fucking
Yeah.
whole marine life under there. But I wouldn't. I'd be annoyed if that was like just used as like a mechanic constantly to like block you from getting to certain areas, and then you unlock a new tool that lets you bypass the current. That maybe once or twice, if that keeps coming a thing, that would annoy me. But I've got a feeling they will restrict it in that way.
Yeah.
The thing is about swimming in video games, sometimes it's fucking shit. Like,
Yeah.
so, the amount of times I've gone underwater and gone, oh, I can't work this.
Yeah, Witcher. I think
Oh.
GTA, no, not GTA 5, Uncharted 4, that had really good sort of like swimming exploration. It was very minimal, but
Yeah.
in the little tiny segments that you could, it looked very good and was quite accessible. But something, yeah, like Witcher 3, I remember that having to get fucking drowned up your ass. You'd be like, oh, what's this? But was there anything that stood out to you that you didn't like from that?
I don't think so. No, I mean it looked. I think it did, and not just the Aloy thing because that obviously blew up and whatnot. But there's something about the art style that looked different, and I wasn't sold on the first time I watched it. And
Oh, right, okay.
when
Did you watch the stream or did you?
yeah,
Because I purposely forgot the stream. Like, I didn't forget, but sort of, I didn't watch it live because I know like 10 minutes after the stream where they normally post the feed and it'd be 4K. So I was like, I always watch this the second time anyway.
yeah.
So.
I watched it. Not did I watch it live? It's close to live, I think. I watched like a replay of the stream, so it's still that compressed shit. Then watched it again, and then on some podcasts they've run the B-roll of it whilst I'm like watching it as well. So I've seen it a fair few times, and I must say after about the third time I was fine. It wasn't too bad. So I was kind of over that a little bit.
Yeah. No. Yeah. I think I liked for most of it. To be honest, I don't think there was anything stand out. But it just seemed just like a more polished version of the whole thing. To be honest, overall.
So you had no real complaints then, or?
No. Just that she's too fat. I was on that. I didn't. To be honest, it was only when it was like I think I went on to. I've got some YouTube channel that do sort of side by side, and they were comparing. I was like, "Cool, she has blown up, hasn't she?" And then that was before it had all blown up. I was like, "Right," but yeah, to be honest, I thought it's got me high. I was already sold on it anyway, but yeah, I think it looked good. It just looks like a more polished version. Like I say, I had a concern of like some of the animations and certainly the facial animations of the first one. That looks like that's been rectified. There's improved like the combat, that looks more fun and interesting. Added some new elements and stuff, like there was that glue bomb that he was doing, wasn't he? To the big fucking thing. That looks quite interesting. I read something that they've like doubled or tripled the fucking skill tree, so that could be a blower. But yeah, just the same for you. It's just like, well, is it going to be coming this year?
Yeah.
Is this a big game for this year, or is Ratchet? Is this all we've got? Have we got any other big ones this year? Now that we've had a delay.
Yeah, I don't think we have. Not from Sony's side, anyway.
No.
I think that's it. And that's the stinker of it. I mean, talking of stuff that's not coming, we'll park Forbidden West for a little bit. God of War Ragnarok, in the biggest surprise ever, delayed. So
Yep.
we said I think it's top of our gaming list,
Yeah.
And
This is one we do, isn't it?
yeah, and they come out and said, yeah, ain't making it. We're gonna aim for 2022. Any
Again,
thoughts on that?
like you said earlier, like they're doing all these announcements like days before. Did you notice in that announcement he said like, yeah, we're delaying it, but we have got something to show you like in the next. He just said we have got something to show you. So I'm assuming there's going to be a trailer or maybe not gameplay, maybe, but
Yeah,
certainly some sort of trailer. Surely, it just seems well. I suppose I don't know. Is it easy to blow a little bit? But just stick that. They could have played that trailer at E3 and then just put at the end, release date or just a whatever it is, spring
yeah,
2022, and everyone would have gone as they did now. Like obviously, no one expected that to come.
yeah.
I'm sure there were still people like fuck it. I see that Alana Pierce because she's now like part of what's it called, isn't she?
Oh,
Square,
part
no,
of what part of
Santa Monica.
the writing team?
Like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, you got brought on and now it's been delayed. You
I
fucking hope you
know.
get
Yeah.
raped or something. It's like, Jesus Christ.
Some,
Fucking sick cunts. But, yeah, so, like, I think everyone was expecting it. No one expected it to come out. Someone's got it in, all got it in his fantasy gaming too.
I think so. Yeah,
Someone's got it.
I think he does have it.
To be fair, if it was coming out this year, I'd be sickened if I didn't have it, but I knew it weren't coming this year. But yeah, it was to be expected. You know, yeah, I hope I'm fine with it. I wasn't expecting it. I hope it's as good as the first. Yeah, be interested to see what they do show at E3. Was there anything you had concerns with it, or
Not really, not for that. I think it was just like when are you gonna actually tell us it's been delayed, because it seemed pretty obvious. But it's one of those things. Like it was when they said 2021, I was like,
yeah,
everyone went no, no.
not a chance.
Even Jim Ryan went no. Well,
Man, I'm not having that.
no chance.
And people saying, "Cool, delays do good for games." Then you look at Cyberpunk and you go, "Well, does it?"
Well, that needed another fucking year, didn't it? That needed 2022 release.
Yeah, yeah.
And the rate they're going, it might be before it's even fixed.
I was gonna say, we get this fucking thing. They've even changed director now, haven't we? It's,
I had some more bad news come out I think it was either today or yesterday or over the weekend, that as part, they got hacked, didn't they? And a load of stuff got stolen.
That's right.
So there's loads of shit that's been nicked and whatnot. But one of the things that came out of it was that the dev team had created a bug compilation, like they themselves, whilst they were playtesting it, like made like this funny video of like all the bugs they'd found, and people were like, "Whoa, you're taking the piss!" And I was like, "Well, I bet they do that all the time. Every studio they've got that somewhere, but because it's been leaked and whatnot, it's bad optics for them."
They really have been fucking like tarnishing this game. It's like a bad omen, bless them.
It's a disaster for them, really.
Yeah, it really is. It's sad because, like, when the game's working and it's fine, it is good. But now the dust has settled and stuff, I think because of the experience, it'll be interesting for your take where you've not played any of it when it's had it. So if they do finally get round to this fucking next gen patch, and it's almost essentially like a No Man's Sky when you play that now, and it's a completely different fucking game, compared to what we had at launch. It'll be interesting to get your take where you've not played.
Yes.
Whereas like mine now is sort of like, oh, do I want to go back? Is that game done for me? Like, how much is a fucking next gen upgrade going to really change the game from what I had?
No.
But no, it will be interesting to hear your fresh take on that if and when.
I don't know where to draw the line though. I don't know what I'm going to see or what update's going to go in where I'm going to go. That's the point.
That's the thing. The crazy thing I still can't believe, I don't know why we're talking about Cyberpunk now, but is that it's still not back on the PS Plus, the PS Store, when the PS5 version is, it's. I think it was slightly better on the Xbox, but it was certainly playable on there.
Well, the trouble they've got is because there's not a PS5 version. It's the PS4 version running on the PS5 with, like, obviously the settings are slightly changed, but if they open it up, then it means the PlayStation 4 base people can get it. And I think Sony, once they kind of made that point, they can't really climb down.
Right.
So I was actually thinking this the other day. I was like, when are they going to? Will Sony let that back on? And are they Like if there's always
Well, they
going to
wait.
if it's always going to be a PS4 version that's been upgraded to a PS5, so it's not a standalone PS5 item. Like
Yeah.
they're still going to have that problem with the base consoles running like shit. Like it doesn't feel like they're ever going to get to a stage where the base stuff runs it like at a decent level. So are they ever going to put it on, or are CD Projekt Red going to release a PS5 only store item? And I think in that case that'll get around it, and Sony will be like, okay, yeah, we don't want to subject our fans, our PS4 fans to this, although they want them to have all the fucking new stuff coming out still. So I don't know what's going on there. And then they'll get around it that way. But again, that'll be interesting to see when they do that, if they do it.
Yeah, I can see that now. I know what you mean, because it is fucking still. I think that's that same site I was saying about earlier, where they do the comparison. They do a update every time there's a patch. They do like a comparison to the last patch, and I think even the last one was still average of about 18 FPS. Them old gen consoles are knackered for that, and that's concerning with this new news that we've heard as well.
Well, let's move into the new news, or the news. Segue. Cross-gen controversy once again rearing its head out of Sony. Now,
well, I say I don't like it. It's an arrogance don't like it because I've got the next gen consoles. If I was a poor Logan type who didn't have access to anything, I'd be spitting feathers.
Yes.
But yeah, so fuck's sake, I can't get a PS5. But it'd be horrible to go right. Like I said earlier, on the Horizon, they on that same thing where they said about there will be a 60 FPS mode. They were sort of explaining the differences between what the PS4 version, what the PS5 version will have.
Yeah.
And yeah, there was some quite significant differences. It was like the underwater sections will have a whole different rendering from PS4 to PS5. And I was like, damn Switch version.
That's interesting. So what caused all this to stir up again? Because funny enough, we spoke about this probably this time last year, maybe a bit later in the year, when I think we found out that Horizon, which we knew about, was going to be PS4 and PS5, because Jim Ryan had famously said, we believe in generations, we believe in making software that harnesses the technology, blah, 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 blah. And then we had Mark Cerny's Power Hour, where he talked about how the SSD and the other parts of the PS5 can change the way that you can design the games. Like it's gonna liberate developers so they can develop around these new tools and not. Yeah.
Lied as well. I remember them saying before these
liars.
You'll get the games. You're going to be able to include like stalling bits of it. You could put a bit of campaign here if you want to. I can't think of any game I've bought where you can only like just the campaign.
Mass Effect Legendary Edition. You can put one of the three in.
Yeah, but I remember it was like if a game's got like a online companion or something. It's like you can just download the camp. I think I've bought. What games have I bought? Probably ones that ain't got online, to be fair, but yeah, I assume that's not. Is there any games out there where you can do that? Just install the campaign. I'm not sure.
I think like Warzone and Call of Duty may have had it. Yeah, that's the main ones that I can think of. But yeah,
give me half of it.
It's absolute. It's fibs mostly. So we had all that spiel, and then we found out Horizon was going to be cross-gen, and was a bit like, oh, all right, fine.
Backtracking already.
Then this past week we get God of War confirmed that it's going to be PS4 and PS5, which upset a lot of people. And then the other one was Gran Turismo 7, which up until recently had stickers had icons and had little text pieces during like the trailers saying PS5 exclusive. So that's something that's changed recently or was put up by mistake. We'll never know what way round it was. But this is a bit of a mismatch of what they had said initially. Now, where Ryan, Jim and his little fucking merry band of boys kind of they scrape and get away with it is because they have released some games that are on PS5 only. Like we've had Returnal, we had Demon's Souls, and we're getting Ratchet very soon. So it's not like they've lied necessarily. It's just that I feel like most people were expecting your first party stuff to all be PS5 only. And that's clearly not the case. And if you look at the sales across all, if you do the 6 games, you've got God of War, Horizon, GT7, cross-gen. You've got Returnal, Ratchet, Demon Souls, PS5 only. You combine the sales of those two sides, and you know which side's going to have the most. It's God of War, Horizon, Gran Turismo 7. Like they, as good as Ratchet is, as good as Returnal is, as good as Demon Souls is. Like particularly Returnal and Demon Souls, niche games. They're not going to be setting those charts on fire. Ratchet might. It won't sell as many as Spider-Man though, which was also cross-gen.
Yeah, that was cross-gen. Yeah, I was about to say I was surprised that Ratchet isn't, but well, as you said, it seems it seems like a bit of a tech demo type game. Not sure it's going to be more than that, but
yeah,
it doesn't sound like the PS4 would be able to handle the Rift.
It can't handle Cyberpunk, so it ain't going to handle this.
No, it ain't getting this. But it's that sort of type of game, an Insomniac game and a PS4 that you would think it would lend itself to a cross-gen. But yeah, I suppose I think Logan does bring up a good point, that it does boil down to this stock issue, which they've also announced in this thing that, well, I can't know if it was publicly, but they did say that they think that this stock issue could carry on into 2022, which is a stinker. Although you bought a second one the other week, so
you can. Well, I didn't get a second one. I sold my digital one and changed to a physical one, so I haven't got 2 of them sitting here. And I sold the digital one at RRP. So I weren't trying to fucking pull pants down. It went
the lorry job I
went to a good home. That did. I made them pay for the postage of the new one. That was all, which I got off games. So you can get them. And that's a good point. I mean, business wise, you've got 110 PS4s versus 15 mil, whatever PS5s are out there. So clearly, business wise, it makes sense. But this is new for Sony. You look at the PS4.
Yeah,
didn't have any of this. Had a couple. Most of the stuff first party, like Infamous. That was
MGS, wasn't it? That was cross, wasn't it? What's it called?
MGS5 was.
Was 5? I know. What was it? Ground Zeroes was. That's the one. That was I bought that day and date.
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember if GTA 5 was. But yeah, it was very little. But it's the fact, like you said, that he's come out and gone, no, we believe in this generational gap. We're leaving that fucker behind. That's why we're not having the full compatibility of PS3 or anything. Go and get it. Bang. Can't get it. Well, all our new games are going to be cross. Is it compromising us PS5 owners? Are we going to have shit held back? Or, like Horizon, are we going to be getting these 2 versions where we get the nuts and bolts version and they get the watered down piss?
Well, I think if I look at how something like God of War looked on the PS4, looked bloody amazing. How much better do I need to look is the question I sometimes ask myself. So I do query that sometimes. You mentioned about Horizon, that's going to have a different rendering technique for the underwater sections. So, like the stuff that I've seen, now they've shown Horizon in motion, it doesn't look like it's compromised. I can't see from that perspective. But the one thing that stands out is that if you harness the SSD, for example, we use that one example because that's the big change, one of the big changes from the 2 machines. If you harness the SSD, you can do things like what Ratchet and Clank's doing with Rift Apart. Like you can do this dimension shifting or level changing like quite instantly with a very, very small loading screen. You can do that sort of teleportation but make it look cool and pull the world towards you. Probably not possible on PS4, and that's a design choice that was made. This is going on this machine where it supports this baseline hardware. We can do more with it, and it's like you could
put a SSD into a PS4, couldn't you? But I assume it's not as powerful.
No, well, they've made a big thing about it being some clever dick one that was like can do all this crazy stuff, but. The only thing really, I think graphically it won't take too much of a hit because you can scale a lot of that stuff up, or you can use new techniques like they're going to do with Horizon. The only question I'd ever have is like, has the vision of the game been compromised? Now, I can't see a situation where Corey sat there and went, right, I want to put this on PS5 only because I want Kratos jumping through portals instantly. Like that's not it.
Yeah.
But is there a scenario where they could have developed the game where they can load bigger levels in, or you can reduce, they can eliminate those things in third person games where you crawl through a tight space where it's loaded, it's masking loading. With Resident Evil 7, could you eliminate the lifts that take place during some of the levels on that? Like that's all, they're all factored into the design of the game simply to cater for the loading, and that's just not a restriction that you'd have. But I have a hard time thinking that Corey sat there and went, right, I want to make a game like this with these design features that only fit on the PS5. Then Jim come and tapped him on the shoulder and went, nah, you're putting that on PS4, change the design of your game. I don't think God of War was designed with the PS5 in mind. Like, I don't think it was that ambitious in its gameplay or its design that it would require a PS5. And at that point, you're getting graphical upgrades and frame rate upgrades, which I think you don't lose much by having it cross-gen. I think when we get further on into the generation, there will be a time when the next God of War game, maybe they sit there and go, right, how do we use this SSD? How can we? What can we do? And what are the pain points of the PS4 where we couldn't use certain techniques? Can we use them on the PS5? And that's when you'll see your kind of PS5 only titles. But I had a quick look at the PS4 and some of the early games that come out on that, and I was like, did they do this before? The answer is no. They had PS4 only games, particularly from their first party studios. Killzone Shadowfall, PS4 exclusive. Knack, PS4 exclusive.
Yeah,
Infamous Second Son, PS4 exclusive. And then you had likes of like Bloodborne coming in 2015, which was second party, but still exclusive only. So
this is new.
This is new, yeah. Like, when people say it's not new, it is for Sony. Like, it is. Like, there's a couple that did do that. I think Little Big Planet's one of them, and then one of the Gran Turismos did go back to PS3, I think, later on. Right. But generally, they supported the platform, the PS4, with exclusive titles out of the gate, and continue to do that through the generation, as you'd expect. Whereas this time, it's clearly different. Yeah. I think that's what's not maybe upset people, but it is different. Yeah. So people that say it's been happening all along, that wasn't the case last gen at all.
No, my worry would be if I was the PS4 owner, just the fact, like, after the fucking Cyberpunk.
You've had it since 2013, Adkins. How much more do you want out of this fuck?
This is the thing. You know, like, these games weren't, like, even just watching that 14, if that was, and it said PS5, but just to try and see that running on a PS4, you'd be like, oh, my old dust bucket's gonna... That was kicking up fucking rocket noises when that fucking old God of War game, 2018. Now this crisp new bad boy with...
That will blow those PlayStations apart, these games. That honestly, the noise and racket that The Last of Us Part 2 made, which was a PS4 only game... was unbelievably loud. The PlayStation 4 Pro, that's the Pro. That's the one that's got a bit more overhead, and that was still going. I was like, Jesus Christ! It might melt a couple.
Yeah,
these little ones.
So yeah, it's fucking horrible for the PS4 boys because I
mean, look, it's old now.
But but at the same time,
you can't get it.
Can't get them.
I sympathise. You can't get it them.
Yeah.
But as I've proved, you can get it them. Adkins got one. He sold one and got one. He's been through the cycle twice. He got lucky in the Curry's raffle. They're doing that. Mine was legit. Got it from game. So, like, you can do it, and I sympathise with people that can't do it, and you don't want to lose out on the games. But here's the thing: like, if you were actually trying to get a PS5. And you couldn't get one, and then Horizon come out, would you really want to play Horizon that much that you'd want to play it on your old PS4 and not just kind of wait till you get a PS5, and then it'll be a bit cheaper, and you can be playing the game in its native, or not its native form, but in a far better, uncompromising type way. Like, it's going to be a better game if you wait. And I know people don't want to wait, but sometimes you have to in life.
Good things come to those who wait.
Wow.
But no, it's a double-edged sword. But it's certainly annoying a lot of people, this cross-gen. But
I think when people switch on these three games, the PS5, they're going to go, Christ, look at that. And then you'll have the people that say, well, it was designed around old tech. And I was like, yeah, but that probably was the plan from the start. It hasn't been snatched away. I don't personally believe that's what's happened. If it's happening in 5 years' time, I'll be like, okay, we'll be blowing. But the trouble is, once again, Sony, and particular, whenever Jim Ryan gets a fucking interview going, he chats shit, and then has to walk it back, or it just sounds awful. Got some bits of Logan, thank you. And that's the biggest problem that I've seen with Sony since the PS5 is the communication has been poor. Been all sorts.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
Got Phil on the other side, loving life. He come out and said it. Do you remember? He went, "We're going to be supporting it for at least a couple of years." And everyone went, "Oh, you cunt." But at least he said it. And then when it happened, people weren't going, now we're not sitting here in 2021 going, "Oh, for fuck's sake, Jim."
Yeah.
What are you doing to us?
Yeah, he's already had his ass slapped. And
He's had his ass slapped and moved on, and people have forgotten about it. Whereas now, Jim's had to deal with this. One question I did have is, how are they going to price these particular titles? Because we've got £70 Ratchet, £70 Demon Souls, £70 UK Returnal, because they're PS5 only, and that's the next gen or the Jim Ryan tax for PS5 games. Now these games will be available on PS4 and PS5. Are they going to be?
Typically, I don't know, certainly with third-party games, if you buy the PS4 version, you tend to get the PS5 version for free.
So what are they going to do? Are they going to do it's £60 UK for both? So if you buy it for £60 UK, then if you've got a PS5, you can upgrade to that for free. Are they going to have two separate prices, and therefore there's no upgrade path? So if you buy it on PS4 and then you want to play it on PS5 later, you have to pay a tenner to upgrade to the £70 version. Or they're going to cock up PS4 owners' asses and say it's all £70, up you go. Even if you're on that old fucking jet kicking off.
Will be because of no you can't pre-order it anywhere. So I was wondering if there was any sort of price markers.
No, there's not.
No dates. But yeah, that would be an interesting one. I didn't really think of that, but yeah.
I think it's going to be cheaper on PS4 by whatever.
A tenner.
And you have to pay a tenner to upgrade it. There will be no free upgrade.
Yeah.
I can't. Or they do the £70 thing across the board, which will.
Imagine that for your PS4 blow. 30 FPS as well.
Because I can't see how they can't do it the other way, where it's 60 and 70, and then you can upgrade for free. That's because then everyone just buy the PS4 version and upgrade.
Exactly, yeah.
They could do £60 UK because it's not a PS5 only game. That's probably the best thing to do.
Yeah.
But I don't know. They've got another dilemma because of all this fucking Jim Ryan tax they chucked out there. Yeah. Prat.
So it's so far on the PlayStation side, it is just these two so far, and then obviously GTA and GT.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if there's any other games.
GTA is coming, so don't worry about that. That's coming for the third generation.
£80 across the board for that one.
I wouldn't be surprised. They'll pack in shark cards with it.
It'll probably be 40, 50 quid, but you'd be buying it for the next fucking 10 years anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
4 versions. We're waiting for that to come as well with the PS4. That'll be another one. I ain't buying that. Yes, I will.
Not buying it. Well, that's enough kicking Sony. I think they've again either lied, which I don't think is the case. Someone made a good point. Erebus Jones I was speaking to from the Pixel Pint boys, and he said maybe Jim Ryan just didn't really have the vision. They thought, we'll just do everything on PS5. We'll say it's generational, and then they've crunched the numbers and they went, well, actually, you're going to be chucking money away. And he was like, oh, didn't think of that. It could have been just that level of incompetence, but either way, it's stirred people up. I'm kind of in the middle where it's early enough where I'm not too bothered. I think Phil has done a bit of a favour by Xbox being like that as well, because you can't suddenly go, well, Xbox have got Series X. Xbox ain't got fuck all at the moment, so they're letting them off the hook. If they had Halo Infinite Xbox Series X only, Gears of War Xbox Series X only, then Sony would be getting a right old proper pasting. But because the other side are doing it as well, it's like it feels like it's norm almost. It's acceptable.
Wait till this Switch Pro comes out, and then they start releasing Switch Pro only games.
Mate,
and that's
that
when
will.
the real Jim Ryan will be getting shagged up the arse.
And there's no one. Doug Bowser in it. You can give a go at him.
Yeah.
Bloody hell. Right, moving on.
Interesting to watch that one.
Dying Light 2. Back from the dead.
Yeah.
Because I think 2019 I saw it at
Blamed it
E3.
on COVID, didn't they? What a sorry excuse.
Yeah, exactly. Went quiet for about 2 years almost. But we've got a release date, 7th of December
New
2021.
name as well. Was that there before? Didn't know that.
Stay Human.
Yeah,
No, I,
that,
I think that was
that's
like in the
new.
tagline, but that's the official name now. Dying Light 2, Stay Human. And I'm like, that's a bit shit. But let them off.
Good.
With the game's alive, which is good because I think we had fun with Dying Light OG and the following DLC. We played through that. We enjoyed that. We saw some new gameplay and whatnot. What did you think of what was shown? And obviously, I'm assuming you're pleased that it's got a release date, meaning it's not being just chucked away in the bins. And I'm not convinced it's coming this year because it's so late in the year. It's like, again, for a fantasy pick, I'll be a bit like, I don't know if I trust that one because that could easily get pushed out. But generally, thoughts on what we saw and heard about Dying Light 2, because Dying Light was a bit of a surprise hit with us.
Yeah, it was.
Even Biff played it.
He did,
I don't know if he finished it though. Did he drop it?
Yeah, I wondered that. I know. I forgot feeling you may have dragged him through to the end, and then we sort of stuck around after, and he went ta-ta.
Yeah, he didn't play much afterwards or do the DLC, but
Completely have to have a little check on that. But yeah, I liked what I saw. It seems to have really sort of changed its vision from, like, not drastically, but this new tagline.
yeah,
How they've like implemented it. We never saw nothing of that. The last thing we saw was like the more sort of role playing aspect of this version, where you can the sort of choices you make throughout the story will then affect the world. Like
yeah.
you give the water to certain gangs, and that will start changing the fucking way the environments grow.
Oh yeah, it changed the map, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that, and they've stuck on that. They sort
Yep.
of went into that a bit more, but then now this sort of new mechanic of staying human, where it sounds like you're going to be infected with this zombie disease.
I think everyone's infected in the world. I think they've all got those bracelets on,
That's
and
it, yeah.
they've all at some point been infected, and it's there's something you put into it that stops you from turning. But that I'm hoping it's not a annoying mechanic that we've got to keep on top of a lot, where you've got to like scramble to find like a vax. Better not say that. People go mad about that, haven't they? They've got to find like a temporary like booster again. Can't say that. Don't want a third booster. Can't have that. No. There's a microchip in that one. You don't, and I don't want to be topping that up every couple of hours. But if there's like certain mission parameters where you've perhaps got to do it, I kind of don't mind that too much. Or even better, imagine if you could turn and run around like that for a little while until.
Yeah, that was quite fun. It did look quite good. That bit where it was like, it reminded me a bit more of like Days Gone, where you had like all the fucking hordes. They like hibernated during the day.
That's it, yeah.
And that sort of happened in this, and then they come out at night. But you could then go into that, and that's where they fucking keep all the vaxes, obviously.
Go into the nest, couldn't you?
That was it, creeping around and getting skulking about. But yeah, I really like what it looks like. It's sort of still carrying over its sort of not DI. I don't know what it's the sort of. I quite like the craft element that you would make weapons and stuff and
upgrade them
and you sort of, it was one of those games where you couldn't really hold on to the same weapon for a long time. You sort of was like, right,
yeah.
It blunted a lot, didn't it, as well? That weapon degradation, which I'm not a huge fan of. But
you could repair it though, couldn't you?
You could repair it.
So if you liked and that's and you could upgrade it also to keep it up to like your levels and whatnot. That's all. That's all returning. The three sort of clans or factions they've got are survivors, renegades, and peacekeepers. So survivors are like, they feel like the normal people that are just trying to survive, like just people that are band together and they're trying to be self-sufficient. It looks like they've got like little farms and crops that they grow and whatnot. They seem like, out of the three, seem the nice people. You've got the peacekeepers who are like this authoritarian like police state that want to. I guess the long-term vision is we'll keep you safe, but you'll be under our lock and key curfews, all that good stuff. Lockdown even, who knows what they're trying to offer there. And then you've got the renegades who are like, I think they're all made up of prisoners that got out and are just scum basically. Now, as good as the idea is that you can side with these factions and it will change the way the world is and all that good stuff, like just from what I've seen in this brief kind of look, I can't make a case for anyone other than the survivors. Like, if you're trying to be a good guy, like, I can't. And maybe what they'll do is if you go with the renegades, you'll get a certain perk or tool or weapon that will make fit. Maybe that's how they'll tempt you. But off the top of my head, like, just from a morality perspective, I'm like, I definitely wouldn't help the renegades. The peacekeepers can't be trusted. The survivors are just getting on with life.
Bless them.
Bless them. So
Man.
I want the survivors to actually be like saboteurs or something. So they've got a bit of like edge to them where they're doing stuff they probably shouldn't be. And then I feel like you've got a bit of a harder choice to make. And I'd also like for you to be able to change your allegiance depending on the situation. So you might put an area into like peacekeeper territory because you're like, right, they'll keep all the zombies away, but I can then go to that place. It's like in the middle. Maybe it's a good place just to sort of convene. Like, that would be cool. But I feel like you're going to go down one path and have to follow it, but we'll see.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. It could be a short game therefore you give it a bit of replayability and try and go through each faction, go for a triple thing.
Yeah.
One thing that did surprise me, and I assume they're going to have to stick this in the game. You watched the video, didn't you?
Yeah.
There was quite like a hefty sort of lore introduction from like bridging the two games. Who's sort of explaining how this game is set into like one city and how like the whole fucking world has
gone to shit now.
And it's all got to now. This is like the last remaining fucking Renaissance, or whatever. And yeah, so I was like, cool. This seems weird that you're explaining this in this sort of thing. Sure, I'd imagine it's going to be like a little thing in the game, but
yeah, like I think it's 20 years past the first one, so it's quite a while on. And I guess the first one. I always forget the first one's set in a very specific. I think it's a South African city. But the rest of the world's pretty much fine. They've quarantined this area off, and it sounds like all the cities and whatnot are fine. So outside the city, life carries on as normal. This is taking place after where they've all got out and the whole world's gone down the shit pan. So, yeah, I mean, I'm always up for more lore and whatnot. So the more they can flesh out these worlds, the better for me. Absolutely.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it does look good. I'm so glad we got a release date officially this year. When's it? December, is it?
December the 7th, yeah. So late one.
Late one, so it could be a nice Christmas schooling.
Exactly.
Yeah, looks good, looks tasty. I remember the thing was a real pig on PS4, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. It
OG.
was.
So hopefully that will be better on trusty PS5 or whatever console we choose to get it on. PC, you know.
Wow. Yeah.
Not my potato, but yeah, it looks good. New main character, was it? This is all getting
he got a new main. Can't remember his name. I remember Crane from the first one. I can't remember his name now. I think something Pierce maybe.
We did end up going with the canon ending, didn't we?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I need to look that up, and I won't spoil what we did in the DLC that kind of suggests that, but
we took the easy option.
we did take the easy option, absolutely. I'm glad I did, because I weren't up for doing what it wanted me to do if I took the other way, so I lucked out there. But I don't know what the canon actually is. I will look that up after this and look.
That. Yeah, have a little look. 'Cause I think you did mention that one of the options was the canon.
Okay.
But yeah, looks like they've improved some of the parkour sections as well. That was quite fun in the first game.
It was decent, wasn't it? I think that sometimes you sort of jumped and missed things, and you was like, right. But generally, it was once you got your eye in and unlocked the grappling hook, it was
that was the fucking real game. You went off to that second area, wasn't it?
That's it. Yeah.
So that would be quite fun. The fact that this will just be one big city. It'd be weird after playing that DLC and having that fucking buggy to run around.
Yeah.
Like, right, fucking back to
roaring round. But
yeah,
it's good.
But no,
good to see it back. And
it's a nice meaty conference explaining it.
I think they're going to do a few more of those. I think that was like episode 1.
It sounded like a bit of a, what was it called? Had like a little pun name, didn't it?
It wasn't Talking Dead. That's the
that's something like that.
Walking Dead's one, but it's something like that. And they had interviews and whatnot. So check it out if you're interested. Ubisoft finally reveal some more details on Far Cry 6. This has gone missing as well. I'm assuming off to COVID land.
Yes, it was that and Prince of Persia. They were like, this is both been delayed indefinitely.
Yeah.
Prince of Persia still in the bins, poor Biff.
But 7th of October 2021, so that's
Wasn't expecting that as
encouraging.
well.
We've got a bit of gameplay, bit of setup. Now,
What you said earlier. This could have easily been in the Ubisoft press conference that's coming like next week
I
or
know.
whatever.
Ubisoft Forward, what are you doing?
Yeah, but no, we got it early.
So we're on this Caribbean island of Yar, which they've said is basically Cuba. That's what they're referencing there. There's a fascist dictator ruling the place, and you're there to liberate it. And immediately I just thought, this sounds like Just Cause. I've not played the game, so I could be wrong, but
yeah,
I know you're liberating.
But yeah, that literally is.
I've only played Far Cry 4. I thought it was okay. I didn't play Far Cry 5 mainly because they spoiled the fucking ending of it, like on their next conference, and then they spoiled the ending of that in another one. I was like, "What are you guys doing? What are you doing?" So I didn't bother playing it, and I wasn't blown away by 4, if I'm honest. I felt like I was annoyed that I didn't play 3 because that was the one that
I didn't ever play for half.
no.
Really like 3.
So I chucked it there.
Yeah, 4 wasn't as good. I really like 5.
Yeah. So what's your thoughts on 6 then? Coming off the back of 5, you've done New Dawn now, so you're all up to date. Although, does this take place in the same timeline even? Because
I don't know. Yeah, I wouldn't. From what I understand, it's a complete different setting. It's still not been confirmed, but there's rumours that the kid that's with the dictator is the villain from 3 as a kid.
That's it.
But that's just like that could turn out to be bollocks.
Yeah.
But that would be really cool if it is. But yeah, as far as I know, there's no connection to previous games other than that. This I think is just a new setting. But to be honest, the setting didn't grab me by the bollards as much as I thought it would.
Don't want to go to Cuba.
Yeah, I like it looks cool, the setting and stuff, like all the old cars and all that.
Yeah.
I think what did surprise me the most, I only saw it today on some like fucking gaming Bible site or something, but there's gonna be segments of the game that are third person.
Oh.
I did notice in some of the cutscenes and like the gameplay bit, there was like little moves. There was like one where she had like some fucking like rocket launcher jump pack on there, and when she used it, it zoomed out into a third person. But yeah, apparently it's going to be like sections. It's going to be a bit like GTA, Red Dead, sorry, where no, the whole game was in third person, wasn't it? But if you are in first person, like when you get onto a horse, it would instantly go to third. So I think it'll be a bit like that. I think like there's going to be sections of the game that are third. I'd quite like to sort of give you the option of a sort of Skyrim Fallout style way if you want to. You know, like Far Cry would always be first person, but just to see what that game would be like as a third person game, would be quite interesting. Gone with a female protagonist after what was it, saying that they didn't want to have an Assassin's Creed female character on the front cover because they didn't think it would help us out. So another stinker for them there. So trying to doing a Jim Ryan there and backtracking. Yeah. But yeah, I got to say, like it did look good of what I saw.
You can choose to be a male. I just checked it. So the trailers are female. I think her name's Rogis. I think Rogis. But you can be the male version if you want. So if you're that way inclined and you want to find a boyfriend, then you can do that. So another element there for you.
Well, stay with me and I'll just shag all the men on that one.
Well, exactly. Why not?
but yeah, I've got to say, in terms like the setting, like I say, didn't grab me by the bollards, but it looks good. It looks Far Cry. The only downside I say is it looked like Far Cry. There wasn't much else there other than sort of new. Almost again like the Dying Light, the sort of DIY stuff where there's like fucking guns where you had like CD racks, which does lend itself to like Cuba. I had a friend that went to Cuba recently, and he said like stuff over there don't get nothing shipped over, so they just like stuff doesn't get renewed over.
That's why they got old cars. It's just
they just fix it.
Yeah.
It's like there's nothing broken. So like that lended itself quite well that they had like guns made with fucking CD racks and stuff like that. But yeah, there wasn't anything certainly in the trailer that was like, oh well, that's gonna be cool. Other than this sort of third person thing, but is it just gonna be like a Red Dead where
Yeah.
you're on a horse or something, but yeah, otherwise it's just more Far Cry in a different setting, which I suppose it all depends on the story. This is the first time they've had like a huge name in there with his the name is the fucking character out of Breaking Bad, but
Yeah.
Gusto, whatever his name was.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I mean, name, the character's name, but everyone knows him. But yeah, so it'd be interesting to see what this is like, and is the story going to be good enough and dark enough? But yeah, I do fear that after we've had Far Cry 5 and New Dawn recently, is it now getting to that point where
Giancarlo Esposito.
that's it,
Esposito.
that's it.
Just call him
Great
Gus.
yeah, Gus.
It'll always be Gus to me. Or what's he in Mandalorian? What's his name?
Uh,
Can't remember it now.
good fucking thing, yeah. Yeah, he was brilliant in that as well, wasn't he?
He's always a villain.
Yeah, he is actually, isn't he?
Every time I've seen him.
Oh, that's gonna bug me now. Darth? No, he ain't a Darth, is he?
I don't know what I don't know.
Oh, that's gonna bug the shit out of me now. Mando Gus.
Mando Gus.
Called. That has actually come up. Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon, that was it. Moff Gideon.
I knew it was some sort of moth. Darth Moss, I was going to say. No. But yeah, I do fear that if this is just another sort of reskin setting, is it now entering? I know it feels like that bit for you already, but then I do fear, for my own sake, that it will become a bit of a Assassin's Creed where it's going to require another big reboot, and I think that will be a lot more difficult to do.
Reboot it in third person.
Yeah, well, I'd be down for that. I know that would piss a lot of people off, and then I suppose then they've got fucking Watch Dogs, fucking The Division, Assassin's Creed, all their thirds. They don't really have much first person, but yeah, it seems interesting. I'd be interested to see how much of it is third person. But other than that, there wasn't stuff I was like, wow, that's new for Far Cry. It's just more Far Cry. So
yeah,
I am more on the fence about this one. Like I say, wasn't blown away by that setting, but it does look tasty, looks good. Coming this year, so I'm a Far Cry fan, so I'll get it. But I am wary. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, it's no, it's probably a no.
It's a no from me. It is getting to that point now where, unless you're seeing some bollard ticklers where you're going, cool, I ain't had that for a while. Like 4, I think, like I really enjoyed it, the story and stuff, but in terms of like doing the gameplay and stuff, there wasn't much different from 4. Some tweaks and polish and stuff, but yeah, I could see you playing through New Dawn, and you'll be like, right, yeah, I'm not feeling this. So it's definitely getting that stagnant. It's going to take something to really. It needs to be getting 9s and 10s now to stay relevant. Otherwise, yeah, it's going to be getting down by the wayside, and we'll be getting mobile games. Also, just released a new, releasing a new VR game as well, weren't they? Which is based around that character from 3. His name
Varys?
Varys Vars. What is Varys? It's off a fucking Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Yeah, Vars. To which I did say to Yellow Boots once was the best villain since Joker.
Wow. Do you stand by that?
Probably not now. He's a really good villain. Where did you go? What's his name?
Abby.
Him. Abby.
Last
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good villain. Yeah.
Oh, is she a villain?
Yeah, I did think he was a very good villain.
Yeah, that was the thing. They kind of leaned into that and made like these. They've done it again here. Like, they've tried to make the antagonist or the villain like larger than life and whatnot. But it's I don't know. For me, for someone that's not engaged with the franchise, this didn't do a great deal. I did watch it all, and I was like,
yeah,
but
yeah, it had that meh feeling towards it.
Might be one if it comes down sale, and I'm not. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe not for me. I'll just quickly run through Sonic 30th anniversary presentation. New Sonic game coming 2022. We don't know what that is yet. We've got a remaster of Sonic Colors coming September the 7th. That'll be coming to all platforms.
What's that release of? Was that a 3DS game or
It was a Wii game.
was it a Wii game?
Yeah. And then Sonic Origins, which is Sonic, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic and Knuckles, and Sonic CD come into one package. 2022. That's about all the good stuff from it. There's other stuff about the Olympics game having Sonic costumes and Sonic Fighters being in Lost Judgment. There's a Netflix show. There's merch. You go and watch it if you're a Sonic fan because it's celebrating it. But those are the highlights. Nothing really. I mean, the Sonic Origins thing's cool. I'm interested to see how Sonic Colors comes out because I never played it or even really engaged with it. And then the new Sonic game next year could be a train wreck or something quite good. But we'll find out more as we get there. E3 is coming up. Now, I said we're not doing predictions, and we're not, but I just wanted to get the one showcase / conference / stream that you're most looking forward to. And it might be one that's not announced yet. It could be, you could say Sony's one, even though at the time of this recording, we don't know if they're even going to do one. We're making assumptions. Or it could be one of the many that have already announced. There's a lot going on. It feels a bit more like E3 this year, whereas last year it was like scattered out for about 6 months. We was just getting a showcase every sort of couple of weeks. But what say you? There's a lot out there. There's a lot of publishers doing it. We've got the hardware guys doing it. Nintendo have announced theirs, and they may have another one about the Switch Pro. Who knows? But what's tickling you?
This is a hard one to choose as my one topic thing. I'm not a fanboy, but I do favour the PlayStation brand in terms of its games. I feel like PlayStation have already shown their big boys. The fact that they haven't even announced anything for E3 yet suggests, I don't know, are they going to shadow drop a fucking direct?
Yeah.
And will that have heavy hitters? The only one that really I would love to see would be the next project announced from Bluepoint.
Yeah.
There's been multiple rumours that they're working on a fucking MGS remake or something like that.
Stop it.
Would be the ultimate bollock tickler. But other than that, I wouldn't know really what else. Maybe another Uncharted game, but I don't know. Naughty Dog, I don't know what. Maybe they've gone off. There's what's it called? Days Gone. Ben Studio have just announced that they're working on a new IP. Seemingly sounds like
poor Sony Ben who couldn't make Days Gone 2, but they get to make a new IP. It's like, fucking, do you remember all that shit? They're treating them like shit.
Pumped from their own money and gone, let's start something scratched. It could be 10 times worse than Days Gone.
Yeah. You wouldn't do that if you didn't think there was good enough people there. It's funny enough because the guy that wrote all that, I think he's Jeff Garben or something. I can't remember his surname. Jeff something or other. I watched an interview with him and David Jaffe, and it's quite clear that he was Days Gone.
Right.
Like he wrote, he was like the main creative.
He was like biker fan as well when it's him.
Yeah, and you had the other guy, Jeff Ross, who was like who helped sort of on the design aspects and whatnot. But the creative chap whose name is just absolutely escaping me, even with the look at Google, it's escaping me. From watching that interview, it became quite clear that he was the driving force behind like the story and a lot of the world and whatnot. So it's part of me. John Garvin, not Jeff. Jeff Ross was the other fella who also worked on it. Is not there anymore. Yeah. And John Garvin. And John left shortly after it shipped. Like he didn't hang around. But from watching that, I was like, I don't even know if I'd want a Days Gone game. First of all, because the first one was okay, but I'm not clambering for like another mediocre zombie game. And then B, like when you see how much John put into that world, it's like, would it even be the same? Like it'd be like almost handing it off to a new set of people who are writing the story. It's like, would it even be? It's like
thinking that with the chap that left Last of Us, was Druckmann. And,
he's little matey boy.
Neil, was it? I can't remember his surname now. Straley or something like that. Sorry, Bruce.
Cool. But it's like that's a good point. And then also when inevitably Neil Druckmann moves on, if they try and carry that on, there's going to be people that like. Wow.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, I know exactly what I mean. That Jack, brilliant. I've been watching a lot of his stuff.
Yeah. The interviews with the of the developers or people in the industry are really, really, really good. Like,
He asks hard hitting questions, and he doesn't hurt to speak his mind. He's quite good with that sort of
no,
thing. People dislike him because of that, but yeah, it's good. It's entertaining to watch and informative as well. It's quite good.
yeah. I don't mean to big up our stream, but the state of his stream, like the chat running on the right hand side, the bar at the top running with all it looks like trash. I'm gonna be honest. He may have done it on purpose, because I think at
He's
least
a brave
ours.
marshal.
Yeah, he's a brave marshal.
He does call-ins like halfway through
I
the stream.
know, I know.
Some random dude.
Some
Fucking
crazy
hell. Get
fuckers
that
on
the
there.
phone and get
I remember when
questions.
they had Jeff Ross from Days Gone on there, and Jeff couldn't get into he couldn't hear the chat or couldn't hear
Right.
the voice. They fucked it up, base. That's another thing. Like if his streams are that he's technically so poor, he always breaks something. But this guy come on and like railed on Days Gone, like, and Jeff couldn't hear it luckily, but he was trolling, like calling it shit. So it's crazy, it's a bit crazy, but it's interesting to watch for sure if you're like into that sort of stuff. So you saying this a Sony type job is going to do it or not?
This is the trouble, because I think the free heavy hit like that, because it's not confirmed. I feel like PlayStation have shown their big guns. I don't think we're going to get any big announcements this E3 from PlayStation as big as something like a fucking what's it called, a Metal Gear Solid remake or anything that huge. I just feel like they're going to reserve that and try and make it their own thing again. We're going to get maybe later at a certain point. So I'm going to rule PlayStation out this one. My most anticipated will be the Microsoft Bethesda link, and I think we will get this Starfield exclusivity, which could be like, it's weird how fucking it's got another Cyberpunk coming here that we haven't seen absolutely anything, and people are fucking creaming over this Starfield. It's just a title, but if the amount of cream that's ready for it, if they do make that a day-and-day exclusive game for Xbox or PC or whatever, and shut those Sony boys out, that could be a huge win for them. And I'm just interested to see what Xbox have done. We've talked about this on previous pods, that they've been leading up to this point when they've been getting these acquisitions. Now's the time to show us your bacon. So this C3, it's got to be. I don't want another. We're planning for the future, and here's another 5 studios we bought.
I agree.
See the moolah. I want to see the moolah. So for that, I'm going to say probably Xbox Bethesda conference is my most anticipated. The Nintendo one I'm hyped for, but it seems almost like I want it to be like a reboot, same as you. Like, I very rarely pick up that Switch now, and it needs that Pro reboot.
Refresh.
I was watching a prediction show from the old Kinda Funny boys, and they were talking about they one of them was like, I think it's Getty's, was saying he thinks that like a third party, like Ubisoft, I think he said, will announce like a Pro Nintendo Switch exclusive game.
Right.
I was like, oh, imagine that. That would be like a fucking. I don't know how that would be taken.
Yeah.
So like he said, like the equivalent of game to something like Control, like a Remedy type game or something, but being a Switch Pro exclusive. And I was like, that's a fucking niche thing to predict. But it would be a big, like, out of the field Nintendo thing. Like, that's something they've never done before, which they do tend to do. Is like the least fucking thing you ever think of.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they're gonna do VR. Oh, they made it out of fucking cardboard. So I don't know, but my most hyped is that E3 Xbox conference. I think just because it's time.
Yeah.
Phil, get your bollocks out. Show us what they like.
Yeah.
What would yours be?
No, I would, outside of a Switch Pro separate. It sounds like the Nintendo conference is going to be games. They've said this much, so it would take a separate announcement of the Pro refresh or the Switch refresh, I should say, to do that. But I'm not. As time goes on, I'm not convinced that's necessarily going to happen. So I'm kind of parking that one. And it is the Xbox one. Like, this is it. They're at the dance now, and it's time for them to fucking dance. This is it. They've got all the studio acquisitions. They've fucking done a Man City and gone out and bought fucking Bethesda. And
Yeah.
now you've got to be delivering those Champions League and not blow it like Pep. Like you've got to be able to deliver the goods, and the excuses are all gone. We're surely going to see Halo. We're surely going to see a lot of Bethesda stuff as well. I'm interested to see how much time they give Deathloop, considering it's a PlayStation timed exclusive. Is it just swept under the carpet of like a 5-minute trailer, and then they don't bother with it? But the big one is Starfield. That's the one that people are talking about, and there's part of me that understands that because they have made some great games. But if you look at the facts, and these aren't facts, this is still an opinion. Bethesda game studios haven't made a great game for 10 years.
Yeah.
Right? Which was Skyrim. Now, since then they've done Fallout Shelter, this mobile game's alright. Fallout 4, which was okay to good.
Very good. Yeah.
We got a re-release of Skyrim, which doesn't count. We got a VR of Skyrim. We got a VR of Fallout 4. Then we got Fallout 76. And people forget they haven't made a fantastically great game, in my opinion, for 10 years. So the Starfield hype is there, but I'm a bit cautious simply because Fallout 4 felt fucking old when that came out, and I'm wondering whether they have the same problem here. But
still on the same engine.
They keep saying they're not, and I just think, okay, then it better not look like it is, because I'm not going to be happy with that. But yeah, it has to be Xbox. They've got so many studios that they've purchased and acquired over the year.
That Loud game. People were saying
Fable coming.
Fable, Elden Ring,
Psychonauts 2. Yeah, look, they've got a ton in there, and I think that's got to be the one to keep an eye on. I'm really hoping that Microsoft pull out a big one this time and start shutting people up. Get some dates on some of these games. Get some games out for the series. Get some games out for any of the Xbox platforms, because we've not had a lot. So it's time now, and I think if not this year, then next year has to be it. Like this year, but I'm expecting big things. I really am.
Yeah, I'd like to see a State of Decay that doesn't look like a mediocre game.
They don't run like pig shit.
Yeah, like the idea of those games, I really like the idea of it.
Yeah.
But when you watch them and that, I want them to turn that franchise into their version of The Last of Us. That would be so good. Like, keep what they're doing and improve the gameplay, but just maybe take it more narrative driven or whatever.
Yeah.
And just make it that more AAA. I suppose it is their AAA, isn't it? But yeah, they have the potential to do it, and that's why I'm really big. It annoys me so much that PlayStation have removed themselves from E3, because I just love E3 week.
Yeah.
I love a fucking cheesy conference as much as people they're cringe. Ridge Racer, but I love all that shit. So I'm happy to sit there and watch a fucking hour-long conference of some Chinese woman who can't talk a word of English and talk about a game. It's brilliant, but. No, they've sort of done it again. Said we don't need E3. Jim, what you playing at, mate? Just swallow your bollocks and get back in here.
Yeah.
Give us a big conference, and Xbox, it's your time to shine.
Yeah, Phil, you got the floor, mate. Knock it out of the park, or we're not going to revoke friend of the show status, but I'll be on the phone if it's not up to standard. And looking forward to it. It's going to be a good week or so.
I'm in my calendar, but I'm still 100. I know there's fucking one that was like 2 in the morning.
I've got something that I can send over to you.
However good, because there's a few like conferences I didn't even realise, like fucking Capcom are doing one.
Yeah.
This year. Who did you mention? Someone else's. You got the Ubisoft, the Jeff thing. Did you say Gorilla are doing their own one?
No, it's called the Gorilla Collective. They're not doing their own one. It's just, again, it's a lot of indie. There's a lot of indie stuff going on as well.
Yeah, there's a Volvo one. I always like that every year. That's great fun.
Yeah.
You have the EA Play. Hopefully, it'll be lovely if we announce like a sequel.
That's July. They've moved those to July, EA Play.
Right.
Yeah. Crap the bed.
That McGregor again. McGregor. What's his name?
Greg.
Greg.
No idea. I don't know who's hosting that. If anyone. Taking the money and giving 10 out of 10s to Madden. Cool. What's going on there? That's not happening to my knowledge. Okay. Well,
but yeah,
E3's coming.
Time to get hyped.
Yeah.
What's your number one jaw to the floor announcement to be?
What, anything?
Anything.
Metal Gear Solid. Something.
Well, what's it called? Made by Ubisoft. Open world Assassin's
First
Creed.
person.
Person. Yeah.
It would be that. That's the thing that would.
That's the one. Yeah.
It's a dream.
Or a new Uncharted. I think. Like,
Yeah.
maybe. I suppose the Drake thing's got to be done now. Could they drag it out for a 6? I don't know.
Don't know what they're going to do with that. We'll see.
But yeah, or Last of Us 3, but I don't think that will be getting announced.
No.
At all.
Druckmann's still
DLC. I'll take some DLC.
I'll take some DLC. I'll take some Resident Evil Village DLC if that's in the pipeline. I'll have a little look at that for sure. Give me some of that. But look,
that's it.
We've rattled on. E3s are coming. People that are listening to this are getting primed for E3. They're happy. We're happy. If you want to support this show, you can do it via 2 ways. Patreon.com/Dimp Digital. You can pledge there.
Subscribe.
You can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe on Twitch. And you can link Amazon Prime to your Twitch account and give us free $2 a month, which I'll take and spend on this overpriced beer that I keep getting. So they're the ways to be doing it. Patreon.com/Dimp Digital, YouTube.com/Dimp Digital, and Twitch.tv/Dimp Digital. The Dimp Digital website's back online, dimpdigital.com. It has the Fantasy Gaming League rankings and a couple other pages. It's still under construction, but if you want to head over to there, you can go there. There's nothing to interact with. Gets about 2 views a week, so it's not really a priority. But those are the ways that you can get up us if you want to. But that's it. Game over for this week. Nothing more for us to say other than thanks for your time and ta-da.
This was a Dimp Digital production.